in what we do. We are a founding member of the Football League. We are 1884. We are positive, inspired and passionate. We are now. We are moving together. We are ambitious and driven. We are progress. We are change. We are prepared, honest and humble. We are the highs. We are the lows. We are the heartbeat of our community. We are the famous black and white. We are the dreams come true. We are the club of opportunity. We are the memories. We are the yet to come. We are Derby.
Complete faith in you lot as a group. The bench is significantly stronger than theirs and we'll make change when we have to. And I can't express it enough to you. You have to gas out, you have to be brave on set pieces, right? And I brought all them in the room, so I want you to look at them. Because they're the people that work hour upon hour upon hour trying to help you all the time. And they're the people that will be there at the end of it to congratulate you or to be sorrowful for you. But they're the people you're playing for. All the people on the fucking wing wall you're playing for. And you could achieve something great. You could. And all I ask is you give it your best. Give it your fucking best. If it ain't your day, fine, get off, I'll send one of the game changers on. It's absolutely fine. But you have to start off with the mentality that you're going out to win the football game. That you're playing fearless. And you have to accept the fact some things you do aren't going to be perfect. So you might not get the opportunity to hit the perfect shot, the perfect cross. You might lose the ball twice when you get out. Don't give a fuck. Get at them again. Get at them again. There's not much I regret about my career. The thing I do regret is I didn't live in the moment enough. I didn't. It was about get the game done, next game. Get the game done, next game. Don't enjoy anything. You're going to learn that. Please live in the moment.
Hello and welcome to the preview show from RamsTV. Derby County host Port Vale at Pride Park this afternoon. The Rams once again looking to stay second in League One. Just 11 games remaining now. We best start with the table. Tuesday's defeat to Charlton means Derby have now played the same number of games as leaders Portsmouth, with the gap standing at 7 points. Bolton lost in the week as well. They have a game in hand on the Rams and an inferior goal difference. Barnsley lurking in fourth, just 3 points back. Oxford now find themselves 2 points off the playoffs, having played more games than both Stevenage and Peterborough. We'll focus on today's opponents, Port Vale, later, but they start the day 4 points from safety, though they do have games in hand on the three teams just above the relegation zone. Port Vale coming into this one without a win in 10. Derby come into it off the back of back-to-back league defeats for the first time in this entire season. Lots to do to put it right, of course. I've been talking to Kane Wilson about his new nickname and about how Derby put things right.
By winning. I think that's the only really option to put it right. Yeah, like you said, it's not been great from all of us really, myself included. Like, it's not what we wanted, it's not what we set out to do, but we have to put it right this weekend.
You're one of a number of players in this side that has a promotion on the CV, and I was looking back at the Forest Green season.
Yeah.
You guys had a real wobble at the end.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. So at the end of the season that year, we were like, obviously I know it's not talk too much about that, but we were numerous points in front, and then it was kind of like we were the team being chased, and it's not nice, do you know what I mean? It's not a nice feeling, and at the moment you might say it's kind of similar to the situation we're in second, and the teams are trying to chase us, but we've got so much quality here and so much experience that we can start pushing on now. It's not a thing of like we don't fear anything, we just focus on ourselves, and the amount of fans we have here and the amount of fans cheering us on, it's a massive positive.
You mentioned Ebio Adams there, a teammate for that promotion at Forest Green and a teammate now at Derby. He mentioned when he arrived that you had something to do with him joining Derby in January.
Yeah, definitely. I went into the gaffer and just said that like he's a great player and that's someone we should definitely get in here. Me and Nelson, he also played with Nelson, I think maybe Colo a little bit, and but yeah, me and Ebio are really close. We've been friends ever since the day I walked through at Forest Green. We've just got on really well. So I know the attributes Ebio has. I love the fact that when he gets tackled as a tackle, they all shout boo, Ebio or whatever, some sort of kind of thing like that. So it's brilliant. I'm glad he's settled in so well. Yeah, he's such a good guy. He deserves it.
Another team that I wanted to ask you about was Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, who's having an incredible season. It always looks as though you two really love playing together. Yeah,
we get on really well. He's, to be honest, I always knew that he was from Birmingham. Obviously, that's where I'm from. I knew he was from Birmingham, but our paths never. He was obviously big time when I was, you know what I mean, being released from West Brom and stuff. So he would never known who I was, but I knew who he was. And he just really kind of, I like to say, took a shine into me. Like he gets on, he's an older pro, so he kind of tried to take me under his wing, and we get on really well. He does moan at me sometimes, but it's all good, it's all positive, and he has been really, really good for me. He's kind of like showed me, and like you said, he's setting an example that I would love to follow. He's got so many good attributes, and if I could maybe take some of his and try and add them to my game, one day maybe I could kind of try and do what he does. I wanted to ask you about the nickname. The Buffalo. Oh, the Buffalo, yeah. What do you think of it first? Do you like it? Yeah, no, I like it. It's different. It was kind of Washington that actually first made it. He just started saying that I play like a buffalo, like I just kind of like, run past people, and like, obviously I'm quite a strong boy and like, kind of shift it quite well. So they called me the Buffalo, yeah, and said it's kind of like how I play on the pitch, and I like it. It's good. It's kind of stuck, to be honest, because obviously the players all used to call it me all season, and then somehow the gaffer, I think we did this like quiz, and my name was the Buffalo on the quiz, and it's kind of stuck from there. And now he said it in an interview, and then I've heard a few people calling it me now, so I like it. Yeah, it's good. Any other nicknames in the camp that we're not aware of? Safe to repeat on camera? No, I'm trying to think. Anyone? We've got, so at the moment we've been playing darts, and all the dart, we have like different darts names and stuff, so like Conor Hurahan's the Hurricane, and Sonny Bradley's the Bomber, and Alder's a Wizard, and Nat calls himself Luke the Nuke. He thinks he's Luke Little. So we've got a few good. It's good. We've got good spirits at the moment, but we've got to just keep it going and try and take that into the weekend. There's Kane Wilson. Back to today's game in a moment, but the under-21s got the weekend off to a great start last night with a 4-2 win at Manchester United. Tony Weston's neat finish put Derby in front, and though the host equalised, Weston restored the lead before Cruz Allen capitalised on another defensive mix-up to make it 3-1. That was just a minute before half-time, and Derby weren't done there. Weston crossing for Bayo Fapatu to add a fourth. United pulled one back after the break, but it's a great win for the Rams, who moved within 4 points of the playoff places. Well done to the boys. Back to today's game. Derby hosting Port Vale at Pride Park Stadium. One side chasing promotion, another trying to get out of the relegation zone. And Port Vale have turned to a former Ram to try and get them out of trouble. The man is Darren Moore, appointed last month on a 5.5-year deal
he hasn't exactly hit the ground running. 4 games in charge so far, just a single point to show from it. That came against Fleetwood on Tuesday, a game Port Vale led 2-0 going into the final 2 minutes. Moore was Sheffield Wednesday's manager when they won promotion via the League One playoffs last season, but he left in the summer and lasted just 23 games at Huddersfield earlier this season. Yeah, Port Vale in a real relegation scrap, despite a brilliant start to the season that saw them win 5 of their opening 7 games. They've won just 3 matches in the 6 months since. Let's get a bit more detail on their campaign so far from BBC Radio Stoke's Phil Bowers.
Probably the best way to describe it is well below expectations, and that's being kind. The idea being is that in the summer they tried to recruit good young players on loan from Premier League clubs, and the mantra was more athletic, more physical, to meet with the demands of the division. 7-0 against Barnsley later, and everybody's wondering what's gone on. But as you say, they then had a brief period where they did really well. And then from kind of mid-September onwards, they lost at home to Burton, of all people, at 3-2. And it was almost like the shell of confidence had been cracked, and it had been downhill then ever since. And there's been lots of controversy about the reasons behind that. Inflexible tactics, recruitment in the January window not being good enough. What I think kept heads above water was the League Cup run. So they did only beat some League Two teams in that, Mansfield, Sutton, Crewe. So they were always at a point where those results kind of kept Andy Crosby's head above water. Once that finished with, and getting through in the trophy as well, once all that finished with and league results began to catch up with them, he lost his job, I think, just at the start of February. Darren Moore's come in, hasn't really seen an upturn in results, 3 defeats and a draw from his first 4 games as well. So I think it really did start to unravel around mid-September, and I think what people, particularly Vale fans, have noticed is that there was a lot of maybe fragility in the squad that wasn't there when they were winning. And once the losses started to pile up, that came to the front. I don't think it helped as well losing their 2 best players in January, and Alfie Devine and Ollie Arblaster, who were absolutely outstanding. That didn't help either. And there was a lot of desire amongst the fan base to recruit the 2 things that they'd missed out on in the summer, which was a good left back and a striker. Now, neither of those things happened, and I think people have seen that as a kind of forerunner to the situation that they find themselves in now.
You mentioned the change of manager, and the man who's come in, someone that we know very well in Darren Moore. A massive statement to give him that 5.5-year deal.
It was, and if you hear what the owner, Carol Shanahan, has said, and the director of football, David Flitcroft, has said, is that it's, they've described it as audacious. And for a club in Port Vale's position, it probably is, because he's probably one of, if not the highest profile manager they've had. You've got to go back to Mickey Adams for the last time they managed to attract a manager who'd got pedigree of managing in the Premier League and the Championship to come to Port Vale's level. And that's not been disrespectful to Vale, it's just context of where they've been over the last few years. The 5.5-year deal is, as you say, quite astonishing when you think about how quickly the turnover of managers is. But they have got form for it. They gave Darrell Clarke a 5-year contract last year, and he lasted 6 months into that. So I think you can kind of see that maybe they do have a lot of faith in their managers. But football, as we know, is a really unpredictable business, and it can change very quickly. What I would say about Darren Moore is that he's tried a lot of things over his first 4 games to try and get things right. He's changed the formation, he's changed personnel, he's dropped players who were ever present more or less throughout the entire season. Nothing has quite seemed to click yet. They've had 15 minutes here, 45 there, half an hour there, where they've looked really good. But then when they have 15, 20 minutes where they're not very good, they tend to concede a lot of goals. And that's where the Achilles heel has been. He's talked about a lot recently, the perfect game. Port Vale have got to play the perfect game in order to win. They haven't managed to do that so far.
Phil Bowers from BBC Local Radio there. So Port Vale on a terrible run. Derby on just about their worst run of the season as well, having suffered back-to-back league defeats for the first time all campaign. They're not the only side chasing promotion to stumble recently, though. Here's Paul Warne, three-time promotion winner from League One, don't forget, on the challenges of this time of the season.
Any game at any time asks you different questions, but also you're now getting to the stage, once you get past January, it's a weird concoction, and this is why like getting promotion is so precious and so like not freakish, but so when was the last time Derby got promoted? Like 1 in 20 years or something like that. Like it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, it's so difficult. And the reason is after January, I think there's a few things, but one of them is some teams play without fear. They're not going up, they're not going down, so they're fearless, which is the greatest gift in football. And if as a manager I could make the lads be fearless all the time, I would, as would every other manager, by the way. You get a little bit of that. You get the lads who are trying too hard, and anyone who studies psychology, the inverted U theory is a good one to read up on. But a little bit of that, you're trying so hard that you get worse, weirdly. And then you get other teams that are fighting for their lives and fighting for contracts and fighting for careers. So in the last 10 games especially, you get players who, are getting released from a League One club in 8 weeks' time. They're out of work, and it sounds awful, but oddly enough, they've just got a little bit more desire than they might have had 6 months ago. So all the games become a lot closer. There's pressure at the top, but there's pressure at the bottom. Everything comes a little bit more random, so the games you feel like you have control in early season when all the pitches are great, then you get through a phase of like winter football, which we're sort of hopefully coming out the back of. The pitches aren't great for both teams, so the game becomes more random and more hectic, like our game was the other night. I don't think in either of the last two games we've deserved to lose, but I don't think we've deserved to win. They've just been two pretty horrific games of very few chances at either end. So I just think now I don't think there's this massive pressure on us any more than there is on Port Vale. Port Vale wanted to win. Charlton were desperate to win. Shrewsbury were desperate to win. Stevenage were for a different reason. And I just think it just concertinas into the last 10, 15 games where everybody's chasing everything. And I think the difference is that everything seems more severe now. Because if you start the season quite well and you lose 2 in September, you've got 35 games left. Now you've got less than a quarter of the season left. Every 3 points seem bigger and every 0 points feels worse. And that's what happens. It's the psychology of it all, I think, with the players, with the fans, with us, with me, with all you. I do think at the end of the season, and it is a fight of the fittest, the bravest, the courageous, everything. So to get promoted, and I say this all the time, if 2 teams or 3 teams beat us to the race and they're better than us, then they are. They've done well over the course of the season. You might get the odd decision here and there that goes against you, or an odd player decision here and there that goes against you. But over the course of it, any team that goes up, I will be devastated, but I will doff my cap to, because they've deserved it.
And as always, injury update, Ryan Namby in particular?
Yeah, it's not good on Ryan. He, I'd like to pretend that I don't know, but I do know. So he's going to be out for a period of time. On the good news front, James Collins is going along very well. So, the physios won't want me to tell you any of this, but as you well know, I'm really loose. So I think James is getting along really well. So we've targeted him for about 3 weeks. And now I've put it out there. It's true, isn't it? I can't go back out and say it's not true. So you can put that on the record and there'll be meltdowns all over the place. But he's getting on really well. Wash is out on the grass again today, done a few different runs this week, so he's in a good place. Craig Forsyth to join in again next week, so that's good. But the best news for me, and no fan's going to go giddy-hoo about this, is Runes is on the grass today, and considering the length of time he's been out, and on the video that RamsTV kindly helped me make, we had loads of clips of Runes on it today doing his rehab, like James Collins and all that, and you can't get too downbeat when you lose a game of football. There's all these other little stories going on all the time, and everyone's rooting for the team, and we just stay positive with the team. So it made my soul smile massively when I saw him out there today. It was a nice thing. So I'm not saying he's going to be available in 2 weeks before the physios write more complaints into RamsTV, the manager's loose as out, but it's just nice to see him out on the grass, so that really pleased me. So I know it will give the lads a massive boost. So hopefully, by the end part of March, we might have a Wash back, a James Collins back to help us on the run-in, which would be great. We might not, though. We might not. That is my caveat to everything I said. Paul Warne said we might not, but we might.
There he is with an injury update, Derby boss Paul Warne. The top three all at home in League One today. Portsmouth facing Oxford, Bolton playing Cambridge, Peterborough are at home as well. They're taking on Exeter. Stevenage go to Lincoln, who are on a really good run at the moment. And Barnsley visit Wickham, who have been tough to beat at home as well. Reading can put another nail in Carlisle's coffin this afternoon if they win at Brunton Park. And here at Pride Park, it's Derby County against Port Vale. We'll have more build-up and all the action in Matchday Live from 2:30. Overseas viewers can watch the action on RamsTV. Get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. We'll be back here with a reaction for everyone. Game. Until then, goodbye.